Welcome to another edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show with Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. I'm Andy Morris, joined with our good friend Jacob Mason. And Coach, it's week 3, Ooltewah week. Before we recap last week, a lot of excitement this week. First region game. I know you came straight from practice. Guys are excited, ready to move on to the Ooltewah week.
Yeah, I thought we had good energy today. You know, coming off really an emotional, trying week. I think you come into this week with, renewed energy, just knowing you're going into region play. It's homecoming week here, which is always, something that as a head coach you try to balance, let the kids have fun, but also the job of the football team this week is to win the homecoming game. So focused in on that. I really liked our kids' energy today. I look forward to the rest of the week from that.
So definitely it being homecoming week, we know the student body is going to have a lot of energy. The players are going to have a lot of energy, as Coach said. So it should be an exciting week. And, of course, Friday you'll be able to tune in and listen to Jacob and myself on Sports 99.1. Pregame coverage starting at 6 p.m., game starting at 7:30. So, Coach, let's go ahead, recap last week. It was a big rivalry game against crosstown rival Bradley. Obviously not the outcome that we wanted, 24-10 in favor of the Bears, but a lot of positives from last week.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things, man. When you go back and watch the film, right after the game, you're like, man, we didn't do anything right. We didn't block, we didn't tackle, we didn't throw, we didn't catch, we didn't run. That's what it feels like in the immediate aftermath. It's never as bad, it's never as good as you think. As a head coach, when you get done and you feel like you did great, when you go watch film, you're like, oh, we missed a lot of things. When you feel like you did terribly, you didn't do anything right, you go back and you see, hey, there's some glimmers of things that we were really close on hitting. So going back and watching it, we did some good things. I thought Kyler Parrish played a great game. We asked him to go, do a dirty job and kind of an unsung job of being the tight end, down blocking all night. That's something that colleges are really looking for from him. It's his ability to down block and cade the edge as a tight end. That's what he projects at the next level. So we got a lot of good film on him doing that.
It's a growth opportunity for him.
He played a great. In my opinion, I think he was our offensive player of the game, and it's because we asked him to do that dirty job that he really hadn't done that role very much, and I thought he really performed well. I think it speaks a lot to his new position coach Ben Braun coming in, and the what he's been able to give him technique-wise to help Kyler kind of progress at that tight end spot. But thought we did a lot of good things. Ryan did some really good things. He ran when he ran front side on power. He really made some punishing runs. It was good to see that. We put the ball in his hands a lot, and it was probably a little too much. Going back and looking as a coaching staff at kind of our plan, we did some things throughout that I wish we would have done differently, but I was really proud of how he ran the ball. He was really strong in that. I thought Spencer had some of the best runs I've seen him have. I thought Gibby played well. I thought Cade Charter played well. So we did some things. And then defensively, man, I thought as a defense as a whole, if the offense doesn't put them in bad spots twice, or the offense once and the special teams once, if we don't put them in bad spots, man, I think, it's down to a one-score game at the end instead of a two-score. That right before halftime was an offense mistake, and then coming out of halftime was a special teams mistake. But when you look at what the defense did throughout the night, especially in that first half, until a minute was left, it was 3-3. So I thought they played a really good game, stopping the run. Jack Wilson had that long one there at the end on third down, but the defense just kind of kept us in it the whole night. And thought we asked a lot out of Deshaun Sims, and y'all named him Player of the Week Friday, and we named him over the weekend after watching film, so it held up. We asked Deshaun to play their number one receiver in the first half, and he shut him down. 0 catches. He had the one pass interference that could have went either way. But to have one penalty and 0 catches against is a big deal. And then coming out of halftime, we moved him to the single receiver because we were giving up those hitches to the boundary, and he ended that. So we asked him to do something he'd never done before, was play boundary corner at halftime, and he came out and did a great job. So really proud of Deshaun. Really glad he's with us. I think you're going to see some progress from that type of play from him over the next few weeks, I hope, because that's something he does really well.
Coach, to stay on the offensive side of the ball before we kick it over to Jacob to talk about defense, we know Jacob loves to talk defense. You hit on Ryan and Kyler having a good game and as far as blocking and going into power with Ryan running the ball. I think personally, we talked about this during the post-game show. The offensive line, this is a young offensive line with not a lot of playing experience, and we saw them kind of step up at times in the game to get that push to where they could run power, and we started seeing some positives from them as well.
Yeah, it was a weird night. It came out and we were jumping in and out all kinds of stuff. If you watch that first drive that we went down and got a field goal on, which is something else we got to talk about, but we watched that first drive. We're in heavy. We're in 3 wide, 4 wide, heavy. Like, we jumped in and out that first drive and had a good rhythm. We were keeping them guessing. They struggled getting lined up early, and we were able to drive it all the way down inside the 5. And then the second drive, we got off schedule. And when you get off schedule, it makes everything kind of like you're just chasing now. So I felt like we chased a little. And then the third drive, it was right before halftime. We were trying to get something quick, into Kate's hands, see if we can gain some yards. If we gain yards, let's try to go score. If we don't, that's cool. Let's just get it to halftime. Threw an incompletion, got tackled for loss on second down, and they called a timeout. And then we got the penalty on third down. So that was a bad series of events there that we've got to learn from. We just got to do a better job. We got to know, as a coaching staff, how to put our guys in better situations there. So, it was such a weird night, though, because then we come out the second half, get back in heavy, and we drive it right down and we score. And then the next drive we get in heavy again and we miss, fourth and 2. So it was just kind of an uncomfortable night for me, to be honest. And what we have to do offensively, and what we've talked about over the weekend, we're good at some stuff right now. We're good at things. We're good at throwing this. We're good at running this. We got to go get great at something. And right now I don't think we're great at anything. So when things get hard and it gets tough, we don't have anything to hang our hat on. So that's what we need to work on this week and over the next few weeks, of finding something that we can be great at. That way when it does get hard, we can go to that menu of plays and draw from that where we think our kids can be successful.
For sure. So going over to the defense side of the ball, I think the thing we can look at is really in my opinion, it was a no-fly zone, anything 20 yards downfield. Everything in front of you, they had success in the first half with those little hitch pass or, whatever you want to call it. But other than that, I feel like the secondary really stepped up. I know that's something we talked about with, 2 corners that are basically new to the program. They really stepped up and played big. And you also had a good rotation in there. So just kind of speak on the secondary and what you thought of their performance.
Yeah, again, I think Deshaun did a great job of doing what we asked him to do, which was cover, Marcus and make sure that he had no catches, no room to make catches, and then moving him in the second half over to the single. It was, our defense did a great job. I think we allowed some things, some third downs to be converted where we just got to have better awareness. But in the end, those third downs, they converted them, but really those things didn't hurt us in the first half. We gave up yards, we gave up third down conversions. But on the drive where they converted the third down, actually I think it was a fourth down that they threw a hitch on and we came up and tackled it. They still didn't score on that drive. We still held them to no points. They missed the field goal on that drive. So, I thought our secondary played well, but I think they got to be more aware of down and distance. We say DSP, draw, screen, pass. Those are on that draw, screen, pass down, third and medium to third and long. We just got to be more aware of where the sticks are and play the sticks a little bit better. But the secondary as a whole, I thought played well. I'll tell you what, that play right before halftime, I'm still not sure that they score on us other than just a great play call. I mean, I know their offensive coordinator pretty well, and that was a schemed. He knew if he got inside the 10 that he was going to be able to call that and score on it. It was a great play call. It caught us off guard. We weren't ready for that, and it definitely it gave them some momentum going to halftime. I think if we would have found a way to drive back down, they scored quickly and we got the ball back, returned it close to the 50 and drove down and had a couple of chances, in the end zone. I think we could have grabbed the momentum back there and we just weren't able to. It's just one of those nights there. We, nothing went our way, and then we didn't allow things to go our way. When it did go our way, we didn't capitalize on it.
Right.
That's a better way to say that. We felt like some things went against us, and when things did go for us, we weren't able to capitalize because of our mistakes, and that happens sometimes. and it's something that we got to learn from, and we got to be ready to capitalize on those. So we're going to take this as a learning experience. I think our guys have already taken it as a learning experience, and they know kind of the things we need to fix, and we look forward to fixing those things.
And like you said in the radio show Friday night, obviously it's a game you want to win. You know, it's a crosstown rival, but everything that you have set forth is still in front of you as a team.
100%.
So, you know, going on to Ooltewah, first region game, it's a big week, and it's good that those guys are bouncing back and excited.
Yeah, you know, I think that's why we set goals. You know, we set goals that match what we want to accomplish. Obviously, a rivalry game is something we want to win, but we're not going to hang our hat on that. We're not going to hang our season on winning or losing this game. You know, we're going to hang our hat on winning the region and creating some history for the school by having back-to-back winning seasons and, you know, getting to the playoffs and making some noise in the playoffs. Those are the things that we've set goals on. Obviously, we want to win that game. It's something our coaching staff wants, our kids want. We want it for our kids. We want it for our school. You know, I went throughout the weekend and just struggling with the thoughts of, man, and just letting our school down as a whole. But in the end, when you look how far we've come and we compete in that game, and we don't only want to be competitive, don't get me wrong, but the fact that we are competitive in that game speaks a lot to how far we've come over the last, you know, 2 years and how much further we have to go to be where we want to be. So there's all kinds of things, good and bad, to take from it. But I'm really proud of how our kids came in today, and they heard the things that I think we need to fix. And they kind of took that in, and they showed the things that I asked them to fix. The good part, the cool part as a head coach, is the talent is not what you have to fix. If it was like, hey, we need to go get like 3 or 4 transfers, that's a much bigger issue than, hey, we need to give a little more effort. We need to be a little more disciplined. You know, those things we can fix in-house.
Fixable things.
Very much so. So I think our kids were excited to hear, hey, like, your talent's there. Our ability's there. Now we just got to take that talent, take that ability, add a little effort, add a little discipline, and we can make a really, really special thing happen.
And that was on display last Friday night against crosstown rival Bradley. So with that, we're going to move on to week 3 against Ooltewah when we come back from this short break. Once again, you're watching the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show, sponsored by Solutions Finance, here with Walker Valley head coach Drew Akins. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Welcome back to the Walker Valley Coaches Show, sponsored by Solutions Finance. I'm Jacob Mason. I'm here with Coach Drew Akins and my buddy Andy Morris. Coach, first region game, Ooltewah. Tell us what we're going to expect to see on Friday night against the Owls.
Yeah, you know, first of all, this is the start of our goals. You know, when we set our goals in the offseason, our number one goal is to win the region. That's always our number one goal. It's something that I think it's hugely important when it comes to, you know, making presence known in the playoffs. It puts you in a good position. It puts you at home. So all those things are important, and for that to be this week where that becomes, you know, off an emotional week and then coming into a region game, the importance of that, I think our kids know it. I think our kids feel it. And I think that's kind of allowed our kids to move forward. So we're excited to host Ooltewah. I know it's a special game. For a lot of people, I know, you know, Coach Brown was on their staff last year. I've been, you know, my first 7 years were at Ooltewah. So there's a lot of things going on with that. Ooltewah as a team has a lot of team speed. I think that's something that we really expect to have to deal with. They're number 4. He's a receiver. He's one of the best playmakers, I think, in this area. They try to get the ball in his hands quick, and then once the ball's in his hands, he's able to make all kinds of plays just with his speed. Their receiver position as a whole is their 4x1 track team. So we're dealing with a lot of team speed when it comes, especially out on the edge. You know, they have a running back number 2 and number 22 that are good players. Their quarterback's younger. Hasn't played, you know, as a first-year starter. So we got to make sure that we put some pressure on him. We got to put pressure on the offensive line and make sure they protect. But, man, if they get the ball in that receiver's hands and those receivers' hands, they're pretty dynamic. Defensively, man, I'll tell you, their defense coordinator is one of my best friends. We coached together at Ooltewah for 7 years. He was at East Hamilton last year. J.D. Dunbar's his name. One of the best coaches that I know. Just a great defensive coach, a great defensive mind. He was at East Hamilton last year, and then has come over back to Udoa this year and as the defense coordinator there, he's always sound. He always just kind of knows.
A lot of intensity from him, too.
Yeah, he's a very intense dude. He demands a lot of his players, and he just plays a sound defense. So finding gaps and finding holes in their defense is going to be difficult. They're going to play physical. They're going to attack. Very similar to Bradley this week, that just attack. So we've got to make sure that we're ready for those things. We've got to be ready for blitz. We've got to be ready for man. We got to be ready for him to jump in and out of fronts because he'll go from their base front, which is, like very similar to our defense, but they walk the wheel up on the line of scrimmage. But they'll also jump into TNT, which is like a bear front, which is 2 overhangs, 2 threes, and a nose where every offensive lineman's covered. So we got to be ready for those things. We got to be prepared to handle that up front. We've got to get better on the offensive line. I think that's one thing we saw Friday is that we've got to be able to protect a little bit longer than we were Friday. Give Ryan a chance to get a drop and to not have stuff in his face. And that's something that we have to do better. Ryan also has got to stand in there and make some throws when it's difficult. So it's a little give, a little take. But Ryan has to have more time. We've got to protect a little bit better. That's something we pride ourselves in. I don't think we did a very good job of that Friday. So looking for some progress on the offensive line. I think we will see progress on the offensive line, and that's something I'm excited to see over the next few weeks.
For sure.
Coach, you talked about the defensive coordinator, Coach Dunbar, a guy we both know very well.
Yeah.
Also, new head coach, Goose Manning. Goose is a guy we both know well. He was the head wrestling coach at Uwald there for a while. That's the connection I have with him. I remember back when he played as well. Great athlete. Kind of talk about what has been going on around their program as far as getting to the point of Goose being able to take over as a head coach.
Yeah, Goose was my first quarterback at Udoa. He was the first quarterback that so I was a wide receiver coach the first year and handled all the wide receivers. But then as I took over quarterback coach, Goose was the first quarterback that played for me. Was a great player, was a heck of an athlete. He was a great wrestler, just a tough kid. Probably was a better runner than a passer, but so was I. So I kind of knew how that was. I knew how to take advantage of that with him and use him in the right ways that he could be successful. We did a lot of dynamic things with him, that year. So, and then kind of just watching him grow up. He went to Carson Newman. I went to Carson Newman. I've watched him over the last few years be an assistant coach and just kind of the things he's done as an assistant. He's great with graphics and he's great at promoting his program, and he's just created a little bit of excitement there and community feel. I think his big thing that he sells is being the alumni. I think that's something that he takes pride in. So he's gonna take pride in that job because he wants Udoa to be successful because it's made him so successful. It's a big give and take there for him. I know him well enough to know that that's the case, that Udoa means a ton to him because he feels like Udoa kind of made him who he is. And there's something special about that when you have that kind of buy-in from your head coach and investment. I feel that here. That's one thing that people talk to me about, kind of where I go from here. And I tell people, man, I feel a huge sense of loyalty to Walker Valley because they took a chance on me. They didn't know me from anybody, and they took a chance on hiring me, and because of that, I feel incredibly loyal to Walker Valley, and I want to see Walker Valley be successful, and I don't want to go anywhere else, and I want to see us make progress, and 4 years from now, we have a plan. 8 years from now, we have a plan that we want to see the program be at a certain place, and if I feel like if I was ready to move on, I wouldn't have that 8-year plan. So Goose has that same investment, that same, hey, 3 years from now, I want to see Udoa look like this. 5 years from now, I want to see Udoa look like this. And when you deal with a program like that, you're dealing with a coach that's fully invested and wants to see, those kids be successful and that program be successful.
And it's a little deceiving when you look at the program. You see first-year head coach, again, with Goose. This is a guy who's had head coaching experience in wrestling, been around. He knows what he's doing. Kind of got in the head coaching position later in the game, but everything that I have heard, the team loves him. The Udoa team has rallied around him. They're excited to have him as their head coach. Yeah. So he's got a group of guys that are bought in, as you were saying.
Yeah, I think he just creates excitement. I think that's something that they, as late as it is, I think him already being in the building, them already knowing him, that kind of eased a lot of that transition. So, happy for him. I hope he's successful, just not this week.
That's right, absolutely. Same here with us. So once again, you'll be able to catch the game on the new Sports 99.1. Jacob and I will have the call on Friday night here in the Valley at the McKenzie Athletic Complex, the MAC as we call it. The kickoff will be at 7:30. You will also be able to catch us on the pregame show starting at 6 p.m. Jacob, you got anything else, bud?
No, baby, it's homecoming week.
That's right. That's right. Homecoming week.
Homecoming week, Region 1, Region Game 1. It's a big week for us. We need to come out and show the excitement that we showed today. I'm excited about it.
So we're excited as well. Again, if you plan on attending the game, you can get tickets at Monogram Market. That's one place that I'm aware of, Coach. I believe you can get them here at the school as well.
Yeah, Gobbles, they can get in the main
and
office.
Gobbles Automotive.
Yep, those are the places. I think there may be a few more, but we'll put it out on Twitter, and you can always come to the main office and buy tickets as well.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you once again for being here and spending the time to talk about the upcoming week. Again, I'm Andy Morris, joined with Jacob Mason. We're looking forward to having you guys tune in on Friday. One Valley.